according to a new study. A recent paper published in Scientific Reports on August 16th consisted of 2 experiments. The first experiment, 180 cisgender and straight-identified university students read papers either about sexuality being a spectrum, sexuality about being gay, straight, and bisexual, or about global warming. After reading the article, students who read about sexuality as a spectrum more likely to identify as non-heterosexual. In the second experiment, 460 cis and straight identifying adults between 18 and 83 read similar articles, as well as articles on sexuality being fluid or stable. Those who read about sexuality being a spectrum or fluid were 36 and 20.7% respectively to identify as non-heterosexual. In other words, as limiting as labels can be, sometimes pithier than non-exclusive heterosexuals might help normalize same-sex attraction, which the study suggests is probably way more common than we once thought. The future really is queer. Some folks just need the additional vocabulary to articulate that they too might be.
It's all about branding, right? I mean, there were too many syllables in that. They need to come up with a better name. And maybe some of these people can teach Kirsten Cinema about what it's like.
Absolutely.
Maybe. But you know what got me was the education, right? You know, the people who read these certain articles all of a sudden were educated on what they might be. You know, I have to give a shout out to Morgan Mayfair, right? He's over at Trans Social. And he's got this incredible, it's called Trans 101. And I'm so sorry if I'm labeling it wrong, but he sent it over to me to take it. And I learned a whole lot of stuff. And in doing so, I did this. There were modules and little tests that you had to do. And I did it with a friend of mine who says that she's a lesbian. Well, after the whole thing was over, she says, I honestly believe that I am non-binary. I had no idea until I did these modules and learned this about myself. I was blown away.
And it was fascinating also, you know, the spectrum of ages that were in this study.
Right. Yes. 83.
It's like decades and decades of people.
Let me also make the observation of how this study reflects on politics, which might surprise you. A lot has been written about and what do you do to overcome ignorance? Ignorance is not stupidity. Ignorance is without knowledge or lack of knowledge. The way you overcome ignorance is through, and that means if you educate, which this study focuses on, and you bring new information to somebody, it expands their horizon and they are less ignorant because they've been educated. Now you get to the politics of it. Now we understand why Republican states are passing legislation like they have done in Kentucky and Tennessee and Louisiana that will not allow you to discuss LGBTQ in schools because they do not want education and overcoming ignorance. Why? Because it's better for their voting base. This study helps prove
the racism.
Exactly.
Yes.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough news. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus